Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, and welcome to the Best of the 757 Community Talk Show. And of course, I'm your host, the one and only Captain 85. It's a beautiful day in the city, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. It's a beautiful day in the city. How y'all doing? Hope that you had a great day so far. It's 12 noon. Got a few more hours to go before you leave the office, work, or whatever type of work you might be doing. But nevertheless, I'm going to do my best to, you know, keep you informed of what's going on throughout the 757 VA, two up and two down, and most of all around the world. So I want you to go ahead and hit that share button and invite some people over to your page, and let's, bring people into the fold and let them know that the problems never cease in the community. The problem never cease in our community. Gun violence continue to escalate as going on maybe 2 weeks in school, you know, just been reported on Wavy TV 10. A young person was shot standing at the bus stop or on the way to the bus stop. It saddens me to think that we are too busy, that we can't try to find a way to speak to our young people. But most of all, our young people are probably saying they are not trying to speak to me. Because when talking to young people, if you speak to them and talk to them and find out really what's bothering them, they will tell you. But in our country today, violence is like a third world country. There's always gun violence going on. And we got more than any other country on the planet. We have freedom to come and go and do what we want to do. And we're seeing it's being stripped away. And you say, well, how is it being stripped away? Look around you. If you're old enough, you can't go where you want to go no more. You can't go out and have a good time. You can't go to college or university, some universities, without being robbed or being assaulted. And you ask me what's going on, all you got to do is look at the news because it's out there for you to know. We have so many resources in the United States, more than any other country. But the politics play a big role in the things that go on. Everybody's always jockeying to be president, jockeying to be mayors, senators, congressmen. Why ain't people just jockeying to be human? We're not robots. We all have feelings. Our young people have feelings. We elect people to office that sometimes they don't know nothing about running the country. It's on the job training at that level. It's on the job training. I'm trying to figure out, they have classes for everything else. Where's the class when it comes to being mayors and lieutenant governors and most of all presidents? Where's the former presidents, the Bushes and the governors, the Bushes, and where are they? We'll keep being reported that this is not the old Republican Party. This is the Donald Trump party. Well, I thought Donald Trump was running for the president of the United States. He's not running a business. So all the things that he say is he's only telling you what he's going to do for himself and friends. And the people that the Congress that represent him, the Republicans, he can't do anything unless they give him the power. So when we look at the president, we have to look at the fact that we, as the voters, the people in the United States, must request accountability in all the things that the former president has done. Ain't nobody talking about it. Everything that he's done, he put people on the Supreme Court that say, hey, you can do whatever you want. Then why do we have a Supreme Court? Or will he be, if he win, will he disband the Supreme Court? How is it that presidents far since this country was built, how come we have all this stuff that we have never understood or had before in politics? Listen to his speeches, and I hope you watch tonight to listen to his speeches. Just in a speech when they interviewed him the other day, he used the word now, stupid. 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 See, words have power. If you say it enough, people begin to believe you. That's what Donald Trump do. He feels like he can say stuff long enough, he has power over you. You have no power over him. So you have to make a statement. Well, I'm not stupid. And you will see when it comes November. We still listen to almost 4 years of the same rhetoric. They stole the vote. They stole the vote. That's what they're going to do again if they steal the vote. He's threatening people, and he can't use words of threat because it's really in FCC rules and regulations. You cannot use a microphone or any type of electronic devices that amplify your voice. He has the biggest platform there is on TV, but yet he just do what he say, what he wants to say, and nobody cuts him off. Nobody holds him accountable. You cannot use an electronic device to incite riots, and that's what he does. And people act like they scared to say things about it. We have all this violence going on, but most of all, it is time to recognize who's for you and who's against you. Who's for you and who's against you. So, with everything that you see on TV, if you know, and what I try to talk about is bring attention to whatever you're trying to accomplish in life. Our young people should have an opportunity to be able to recognize that life is precious. And that goes for all officials. But the police can't do but so much if the parents are not recognizing what needs to be done in helping our future generation. Because I want to see every child. I want to see every child have an opportunity to grow up to be somebody. Every child should grow up to be someone. That's all I know. When we have things that my guest just text me, I apologize. When we have an opportunity to keep young people informed and let them be aware that we love them and we care. It is up to us to make sure that they understand that we need them. We need them. Not to be in the news in a negative way, not to go to school and not pay attention to the teacher. The teacher is there because she loves you. Teachers, people that become teachers, do it because they care about kids. Because somebody once cared about them. The mom, the dad, or a next door neighbor, a friend. Somebody cared to inspire them to say, hey, you should be a teacher. But nobody ever brought anybody into a fold saying, hey, you want to kill somebody, until there became gangs. And then when there became gangs, well, you see, it's an ongoing situation. But nevertheless, my guest is here, and I'm just waiting for her to, pop back in so I can bring her on. Of course, it's my colleague from OD Minion University. I don't know if she's coming, she's ready to come on the screen, but I know she's in the back studio. But I'm going to click on it and see if she's ready to come on. Good afternoon, Simply C. Oh, she popped off. She'll be back. That's a picture. Oh, there she's coming back. She's back. She might be having technical difficulties. Oh, no, she's smiling, so she must not be having technical difficulties. As she does her podcast, Simply C Podcast. I didn't have time to put the information up over, on the screen, but I hope she forgives me. Welcome to the show, Simply C. How you doing?
Hello.
Hey, you look just like your picture. I want to know, is it live or is it a video?
Video. Here we go. Here's Kenai. He's saying hello.
Oh, the dog is now he's trying to get it. Now he's trying to get his own show.
Get him to say hello. He's just happy.
He wants to be everywhere.
He pushed something.
You might have to get him an agent.
Yes.
He's
so photogenic. I gotta send you some videos.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You got to get him an agent. He might be on next year. Be on America Got Talent.
Yes.
So how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I just finished catching up with one of the people I had on the podcast. I think it's been 2 years now. I did an interview with him earlier this year, but I'm having technical difficulties with my SSD. So.
So I hope everything works out.
I think it will. I did it with an SD card this time, so I haven't had a problem with those yet.
Okay. Yeah. I was checking my emails and because we on links and there was a lot of response to when I had you on about a couple of years ago. Sadiq, the guy that was a artist, he went I had him on the show, and he's an alumni of Old Dominion as well.
Oh, that's cool.
And I was just watching that. I said, hey, let me pop in and see if she available today, because I was gonna do the show a different way, but I'm like, it's just with everything going on with these young people today, just came in, to set up and then watching the news in the background and another kid, 14 or 15 just got killed
Ah,
this morning. Just got killed this
there
morning.
we go. I'm
Uh,
sorry.
okay.
All of a sudden, all the technical difficulties are happening today, and that's funny. I'm
Yeah.
doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It always happens when I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the way life is, the unexpected. But the thing you learn from that is that you learn to navigate and continue to move forward,
Mm-hmm.
because your mind begins to say, now I know what to do when that happened again. You know,
Right.
you know, most people give up, get angry, get frustrated. Instead of, hey, things happen, roll with it.
It starts that way, but then
Yeah.
as you like learn what you're talking about, you
Uh-huh.
get a lot of peace from it. You learn how like, oh, it's not actually a distraction unless I let it be a distraction.
Hmm. So that's the key point to anything in life. Hey, if everything was easy, everybody be rich, but it don't work that way.
Mm-mm.
Everything is a challenge. And I'm a prime example, because that's why I do what I do, to show the next generation that things ain't easy. You're not going to have it your way. You're gonna sacrifice and do a lot of stuff you don't want to do sometimes to get a bag when you don't have to.
Yeah.
You just got to take time, get the knowledge, and then get the wisdom to use it.
Right.
You know, so that's to me, that's the formula to me. Is
That's true.
getting,
It
getting
hasn't
it.
changed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So life is short. Hey, but problems are much more longer. They never cease to amaze you all the technology we got in the world,
Mm-hmm.
all the places we can travel to and from. The time that we spent, young people spent, getting in trouble,
Mm-hmm.
then to hire a lawyer to try to get you out of it. you could have
Mm-hmm.
just you could have just did something regular.
Drink my water and mind my business. That's what the
Ye-
regular or reggae song says.
Yeah, it's just you know let the TV and all these videos fool you.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to talk more. And most of the problem I see sometimes is our community, uh, where they want everybody to volunteer their time and not be paid for it.
Right.
And the people that's getting paid ain't doing it.
No,
If
they're
you
not
got,
distributing the wealth so that it's a balanced system.
mhm. So the violence continue because the people that have not saying, I want something.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that have something, they're saying, well, we ain't gonna let you come into our circle
Mm-hmm.
because it's easy to build something if people are sincere and want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I tell people, all people ain't bad, just like all people ain't good.
Right.
But somebody has to make a choice on what they want to do.
That's true.
And the money that's allocated to cities and all this money,
Mm-hmm.
billions of dollars given to create activities for young people. But yet you're telling me young people rather choose to be violent and go to prison?
I think it depends on what they're around. So some of it I think is a choice and some of it is programming. Well, I think some of it is a choice by programming
Hmm.
and some of it is a choice by availability.
Right.
So they're programmed to think that that's okay because, hey, so and so did it, they survived, they're doing fine. So and so did it, they're still out here making money. Like it's a way of life for their culture. And other people, that's just the only thing that they have available, so they're used to it. But if they were offered those other opportunities, then they would take it.
Yeah. But see, when you're young, when you're 12 and older, why do you spend 10 to 12 years of your life trying to figure it out? You know, when they should have leadership and things in the community for them to
Mm-hmm.
represent. And there's nothing wrong with people that's been in jail and come out and live a good life.
Mm-hmm.
So we use a lot of negative stuff, which after they become positive, we put them in play. And most young people are gonna say, well, if he did it, I can do it.
Exactly.
He went to jail, he came out and be a rapper. He's a
And the
millionaire now.
trying to tell you is you don't have to go that way.
Right,
He made decisions that got him into that position. And
right,
those were based off of things that he's either because sometimes they'll make music that still promotes the lifestyle, but they don't live that lifestyle anymore. They actually
right.
contribute to the society and the community. So sometimes it's like a double standard, or not
Mhm.
double standard, but like hypocrisy. Like, you're saying this thing, but you're doing this. Like, how do we know we can trust these actions if this is what you're representing in the media?
Right. And young people, if they don't trust you, you can't reach them.
Right.
And the trust that they're looking for, where is the trust? Because I mean, I can keep telling people I don't work in the community for 50 years,
Mm-hmm.
50 years of my life. Well, longer than that. Well, I'm just going to round it off to 50 because it sounds good. Well, why ain't you rich? Well, because my wife asks me the same thing sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
She said, all the people that you don't work for, they rich, that you made rich, but you're not rich. Well, I'm rich because I'm rich in knowing how to get it done. That's
Mm-hmm.
knowledge. Knowledge, the scripture tell you, knowledge will make way for you. When the rich man came to Jesus and said, man, I like what y'all are doing. I
Mm-hmm.
want to be a part of that movement.
How can I do that? Sell everything you have.
Thank you. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I never I care about money. Why? Because I can do so much with it.
Mm-hmm.
I can go in the community and, hey, look, you want to help me do this? I can pay you X number of dollars an hour to
Mm-hmm.
get it done. Hey, if y'all want to come and do this, I'm gonna take all y'all, since y'all did a good job, I'm gonna take all y'all to the movies. You
Mm-hmm.
can bring a friend, and I'm gonna buy all the refreshments.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, when I get 8, 10, 12 people, we all go to the movies at one time. Everybody's enjoying, everybody got refreshments. And then when I go to check out, and the people at the movie theater saying, I used to give them a nice tip. Whoa, we can't take that. I said, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Because the company said, if anybody give us a tip, don't take it. So really what they're saying, because in the club business, people are, make their money by tips. And most of the time people are trying to influence you. So when they get more liquor, but I train all my staff, you're not doing anything to help the person
Right.
by giving them more liquor. 8 to 9 or 10 years down the road, they're gonna have uh, uh, kidney failure, uh, different
So
diseases
solid type. Yeah.
from the over drinking. See,
Yeah.
everything is measured. That's why you use a measure when you go to a bar. That bartender is supposed to measure the amount of liquor that you get,
Mm-hmm.
and that's because it's timed by so that your body can consume that liquor
In a certain amount of time.
in a certain amount of time. But if you don't, it's going to start shutting down your livers. It's going to liver and your kidneys. And do you
Mm-hmm.
know what liquor really is?
It's a poison, right?
Well, it's kind of poisonous, but it's made from sugar. You're
Oh,
drinking sugar,
yeah. In a
you know,
different form.
right? Well, see, the only thing that makes liquor is fruit. See, man didn't make liquor. That's why you hear in the Bible when it says Jesus touched the water and it turned it into wine.
Mm-hmm.
wines and stuff, liquor is a natural phenomenon.
You ever seen them? They do monkey videos where they eat overripe fruit,
Right.
and
That's what
that's
they
a
do.
yeah.
See, my dad used to make wine and stuff. Used to
Mm-hmm.
sell it when I was a child. We go out there, we had mulberry trees, fig trees, uh, uh, fig trees, apple trees in our yard. And you go out there, get the apples that fell on the ground, the
Mm-hmm.
ones that's, the ones that's rotting before they get too bad or soft. Take that and you take it and turn it into wine. Look at corn shell, the corn that you eat,
Yeah.
the cob, the one that you get the corn on.
Mm-hmm.
You take that and make liquor. That's how you make wine and stuff. It's a
Mm-hmm.
natural phenomenon. It's not man-made. Man makes the brands.
Mm-hmm.
He makes the brands and okay, I'll put it over here, let it sit up for a year, maybe 5 years. And as it ages, and they put them in these barrels, and it ages in those barrels, it changes the type of liquor it is because it's the barrels that they put it in.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of different things, but man didn't make the liquor.
Right.
It's natural because it goes over whenever where you see running streams. If you go by a running stream and just put fruit, corn stuff in there,
Mm-hmm.
and as that water is running across those rocks, that'll turn into wine. It
So
will
it's just
turn
the action of decomposition, or is it because when water? I don't understand how that would turn it into wine.
because it's running. It's a running stream.
Mm-hmm.
It's the water's running, rushing. It's moving fast. So
Mm-hmm.
with that, fruit is automatically got sugar in it.
Right.
So by the combination of both, because I learned that because I had this guy that worked at the Portsmouth, I worked with the health department down at in Portsmouth when I used to do my talk shows when I was a guest, a co-host with on WRAP back in the late 70s and 80s, and that's why a lot of people know me from, not just the club. They would know my voice, and they'd be like, "That's how I met Dr. Adolph Brown." I was in Kinko's, and he asked me, he said, "Excuse me, let me ask you something. Have we ever met?" I said, "No." He said, "But I remember your voice from somewhere."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Oh, I'm a DJ." He said, "Where do you DJ at?" I said, "Well, I'm a DJ in the clubs." And I also, he said, "But did you ever do radio?" At the time, and during that time, I wasn't on the radio. I said, "No, I was doing a talk show with Frank James and Soul Ranger." He
Mm-hmm.
said, "That's where I remember you from. I knew I met you. What's your name?" I said, "Captain 85. He said, "I knew it."
He met you?
He never met me. He knew my voice. So a
Oh
lot of
man.
people know my voice. They know my voice
Yeah.
because I talk on radio, and that's why I tell people, I'm as as they call, it's a curse and a double edged. It's a curse as well as a blessing
Mm-hmm.
because the way my voice is, the way sometimes I articulate, and when I tell people I was in a special education class, they'll say, "Why do you tell people you was in a special education class? You shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
do that." If you hadn't told me you was in a special education class, I would have never known it. And these
Right.
are these are people with degrees before I ever went to college. But like I keep telling most people, I always had the opportunity to meet and be a part of things because of the things I learned, the things I
Right.
know. It's not just here. I've been to New York, and when I did, and this is before I went to broadcasting school, I
Mm-hmm.
was I was in marches up there uh with people that got, with Mayor Lindsay was the mayor of New York, and he didn't want to give the youth um summer programs. Said they couldn't afford it.
They
So
couldn't afford
they
it.
couldn't afford to pay him.
I don't know if I
So,
believe.
huh?
I said I don't know if I believe that.
Well, it was in the Bronx. Depends on what part of the city. Like here, they'll tell you what they don't have. But when you
Right.
look at all the other areas, they're getting hundreds and millions of dollars And they tell you they don't have it for you.
Right. For
You know.
you. That's like they got it. They just only got it for you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I go through that. I go through that now. That's why I use my own money. And they know it's either they're gonna what the city does, and this all 7 of them. What they do there, they'll tell you something, but they're really telling you, I'm not giving you the funds to do it. So most of the programs that they fund, they already know that they can't solve the problem. They know that. Because if you solve the problem, that means that you have power over the city.
And they can't make any money off of that.
Right. Nor can they stay in office if you get that type of power.
Right.
So what we do is we got to create a scenario so that even though it looks like we're doing a great job, because anybody that's doing a great job, common sense would say, why are you still having the same problem?
Right.
There's no way you're doing a great job.
And
as soon as school open, the problem is right back.
Right. How many? I'm not even trying to be funny because I was watching I have a favorite YouTuber who's in Canada, or 2 YouTubers because they work together to make their videos.
Right.
I think 14. One of those school pews already. Already, school just opened.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
That's not normal. That's not what happened 10 years ago when I was in high school. None of this, like, you still had the same mental stuff going on, but you didn't have all at all. Like, you had school fights, if anything.
Yeah, fights.
14, and they've only been in school for like 2.5 weeks at the most. That's crazy.
Yeah, all you got to do is create something that the kids are interested in. Everybody ain't rich. And I've been to meetings for the last 20 or 30 years. I mean, people have asked me to be on, boards that's in down at the city. One of the council persons asked me to, pick out 1 or 2 2 or 3 different committees that I could be on. No.
Yeah.
People have asked me, well, why don't you run for office? No.
Yeah.
People wanted me to run this, when I was when I had my club, people like, one guy, he was a captain. He was a captain in the military. He had retired. And, he asked me, say, I'm moving back to Georgia because of my daughter or sister, something, was medical conditions. He said, I'm moving back to help her. And he said, I want to nominate you at the next Civic League, Lake Edward Civic League, for you to be the president. No. I appreciate the offer, but no. See, you can't. That's why when the guy came to Jesus and said, I want to be a part of what you got here.
He's like, I already got my crew. I'm good.
Right.
Oh, you still want to be a part of the bigger picture? Oh,
yeah.
Well, you got to. That's Right. You got it. Just do that.
I don't want. See, the thing is, politics is all about who can put stuff in you, who can do something for you.
Right.
And I know a lot of the politicians that used to come in my club. They'll smile in my face. I know a lot of people that I helped get in office. They might say, well, you didn't get me in office. Well, let me see. How much money did you spend to get in office?
Right.
Or did I give you a platform where you can get in office?
Right.
Get elected. See, the difference is, if you ain't got the money, how did you get to that position?
Right.
If nobody knew who you were, how did you get to be known?
Right.
So everything that I do, I already know the outcome of what I do.
Right.
I can't make people vote for you, but I do have some level of influence because the people know me. I'm from here. Like I keep telling you, I'm spiritual. You can talk all you want to. You can talk and do whatever you want to. But the one that sends me is also the one that take care of you.
Right.
So how are you going to do anything above? And when the man that sits up high and looks low.
Right.
I see things that you don't even see. So when I talk to people, they thinking that, hey, you think you all that? Well, I'm going to show you that you ain't. but it's not you that controls you don't control the outcome.
Yeah.
You
But then,
control what you think this is why we have the violence. This is why
yeah.
young people are dying, because you think you control the young people. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
threaten them. I'm gonna lock them up. I'm gonna put them in jail. I don't care how much money you got.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible just says stay humble. How you staying humble and you using your platform or your position to not correct the situation?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's a child that's going to school today. All these kids going to school,
Yeah.
and every time somebody die, is it somebody making money? Every time that somebody shoot in the neighborhood, is it
Mm-hmm.
somebody making money? Somebody's making money off the misery.
Right.
Somebody's making money off our young people. And there's a lot of money out there.
Yeah. Just
And
like when
every
the
no, go ahead.
couple years, not a couple years ago, but years ago, like when all the missing persons were popping up and everyone was talking about how black market things were in a different place back then because people were missing and not found, or
Uh-huh.
missing and found but they were deceased, and their bodies were um adjusted.
Right.
That's, yeah, somebody was making money off of those people just like they're doing today.
Hello. So
Yeah.
everything that goes on is a dollar sign behind it, is a dollar sign in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you love humanity, if you can't help it, then why be step down and let somebody else? Like let's with the presidency, with Biden.
Mm-hmm.
He said, okay, I'll step down then. I'll step down.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're dealing with some person that think he's a master of words, see, the other person think he's a master of words, but the people of his party empowers him to do what he does. And then they
Right.
turn around and make an excuse.
Right.
Or why the country the way it is. What? All you got to do is bring back when President Biden always had the time when he speak to the nation.
Right.
The last time he did that, no Republican stood up. Everybody, he said, "Well, y'all trying to cut Social Security."
Mm-hmm.
They got mad. Well, we ain't trying to do that. What? I'm on Social Security, brother. You're trying to cut it. You really is. You're trying to cut out money that the United States citizens put in that you took and put over here that are not supposed to be touched.
Yep.
So why are you taking money that people already paid into a system, and you know that you're doing that because that's how you fund the wars? You
Right.
take the money from the Social Security and then you don't put it back. Then you try to come up with a way to make an excuse. Well, we
Yeah.
had to borrow money. Uh,
Yeah.
no, the United States is the most richest country on the planet. They keep
Yeah.
trying to make you see what they do is they have to do things to make you believe that the country is poor.
I
That's
mean,
what
that's
they
like
do.
when you get money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got about 100, you got about over 100 billionaires. Over 100.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got black billionaires. One time you didn't have black billionaires. If you did, it might have been 50. So with all the money out there, how come is it that we can't solve a problem as little as gun violence?
They don't want to. Like you said, there's money in it. So, like, why they already stopped? They're making adjustments in the public's access to guns, which is adjusting behaviors, but it's not really changing anything. Kind of like with liquor and how
Right.
they tried prohibition before. They're going to try to get the same way with weapons. Um, I don't know, but I also really don't know what's going on with the people to make them choose to do this. because it scares me. Like the school semester just starting and there's already 14 school shootings.
Yeah.
That's not cool. That's unsettling. And these are kids. So how sick are the kids now, or how sick were the parents who were raising these kids to where these kids are in this kind of a position?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just, it took them. That's why with my coloring book, I did not
Mm-hmm.
change the date on it. Those dates when I created my comic books uh and storyboards with the artists. Once I give them the sketches and they're like, well, what you want to put that date in there like that? Leave it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want. The way everything it's a reason behind everything that I do. It's a
Mm-hmm.
reason, not a season. To show you in 1999, what is this? 2024.
Mm-hmm.
It took the Surgeon General of the United States to issue last year that gun violence is a mental health issue.
That's a
When
long time.
you see,
See, but the reason that I question, like, I could at least justify how violent, like when my parents' generation was in school, they were coming off of I think their parents were the crack generation, or like
uh-huh,
what it was. So there was like some kind of a systemic issue that kind of led to how the children were acting that way.
right,
This really don't know. I was born before 9/11, so a lot of what was happening in my generation was technology changing over. So the internet was introduced, but now this generation grew up with the internet. So I'm wondering if that's what has to do with it. You can't really blame video games, because if you blame video games, then you're going to blame movies too. Movies have been around a lot longer. They've portrayed acting, and you know that it's a screen, so you can do that with a video game.
right. So
It's been a
this
thing. It's been long enough. You can justify this with that.
what the system is much broader now, even with AI. And
Hmm.
like, they didn't have all those people there at that meeting. That's
Oh yeah, I forget
artificial.
that. Have you seen
Artificial. They generated those people. They weren't there.
now that I can understand confusing, but I still don't understand that making a people sick, if that makes sense. I can, because you can't always tell. Like sometimes you can, and it's
Hmm.
normal for their generation that this is a thing. Like we came up with Snapchat starting with the AI where it augments your face.
Right.
It's normal now.
But what's not normal is that the parents are not telling their kids a time limit.
Oh yeah.
So when my kids always had the computer.
Mm-hmm.
They
But you're right.
always, it was well, it was dial up, AOL. Ted Turner
Mm-hmm.
was the first one that had the internet system. He was the first, the dial up. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why you hear Al Gore say, I'm the one that invented the internet. What he's saying is that the government funded the internet, but it was for the military.
Yes.
It wasn't for the average person at the time.
No.
And once was that the Gulf War, the one before the Gulf, one of them, that it was in the 80s
Mm-hmm.
when they had created it. And once they did that, the late 80s, Ted Turner, who owned it, AOL,
Mm-hmm.
you got mail. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and
It's
Radio
messy.
Shack was the person that you go to to get the Tambi computer.
Mm-hmm.
So with those two systems in play, and still even then, a lot of people couldn't afford it, you know. But that's where you get Al Gore said, I invented the internet. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because once that war was over, the federal government deregulated and started allowing people to buy it. Ted Turner could afford it because he was already a millionaire, billionaire type.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how that come about. So I had the internet. When I
Mm-hmm.
went to work, got off from the clubs, I stayed up to 6 or 7 in the morning studying it, learning how to operate it, learn how to do certain things, learn how to create stuff. So when people don't know, I've been doing this for years. I'm not a genius at it. I just know what I want to do on it. I ain't trying to figure out all the other stuff. But when my kids came along, and
Right.
they had, as the technology grew with phone companies, now you got the internet, and then you get the where you can connect with the phone system. Then they was able to do a little bit more, but they can play. I always told my kids this. I don't care. This is the only thing that I care about. I want y'all to be happy. I want y'all, if I can afford it, I will buy you things if I can afford it. But this is what I want you to do. Some things I will buy for you individually, as long as you don't, as long as you get your homework done, as long as you do what your mother tell you to do, and what the teacher tell you to do. This is what's going to happen if you disobey your mother or the teachers. Everything that you got that I give you, I'm taking it away. I ain't got no excuses. If you get, everybody's not an A student, and I'm not an A student, but in my mind, I'm a genius. So it don't matter.
But get degrees.
Right. The thing is, I don't get mixed up with you great, you're the best, you're a genius. I learned from working. I learned from doing what I need to do to get things done. That's what I do. I do what it takes to make sure that whatever you tell me to do, I ain't arguing with you. If I go get a job, I don't care whatever position I got. And I know there's people more qualified than me. But the difference is you're not going to work as hard as me.
Right.
I've been on jobs and my coworkers would say, man, you need to slow your butt down. I'm not going to say it the way they say it. You need to slow your butt down. You're working like you're a slave. I said, no, I'm not a slave. I said, I came here looking for a job and they gave me one. I got a job because I work to take care of my family.
Right.
Family is first. I have a wife, 3 sons at the time. I'm not here to talk and have conversation. I'm not here to sit around and drink coffee.
Office politics.
I'm here to get my work. And I'm working a 10 or 12 hour shift. And we just have a 10-hour shift. But we had 3, that was 3-day work day.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, we worked 40 hours. We worked 10 hours a night, four nights times 10. That's 40 hours. And we had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off.
That's not bad at all. So
right.
You could do what you wanted to.
But like I keep telling people, you can't beat me.
Right.
That's why people, when they see me, they don't understand is my work ethics is I'm not here for you. I don't do this talk show for me. I don't do it for you. I do it so that it can be recorded and archived. So nobody won't sit around and say, nobody really knew. The only person that ever did something was the rappers, the singers, the entertainers. What happened to the regular person? What happened to the people that went to college and graduated? And what were they doing after they graduate? Because I worked in warehouses.
Yeah.
With people with the college degrees.
Yeah.
And they was making more money working in the warehouse than with the degree.
Yeah.
So when people don't understand is we learn something every day we get up, we learn something.
Yeah.
But now we learn everything from the internet and television.
Yeah.
And we won't talk. Reason why I always bring you on. Not because you're intelligent and you're very knowledgeable, you're educated. It has nothing to do with your physical being. The reason why I bring you on, because I'm 73 years old, and you're your age. Women don't know how to tell the age because I'm not. I'm just gonna say I knew you was when you was that older you, older man. So But,
19 in my actual
right.
age.
But the thing is, your personal life has nothing to do with why I bring you on.
Mm-hmm.
Why I bring you on is kind of personal because you came to me and you asked, could you interview me? And I'm a very quiet person. I don't like to do a lot of talking. When I'm up here, it's because it's recorded. I got to talk, not sit here and like, people like, is something wrong with his sound? It's to educate people long after I'm gone to say, well, what did they do in 2024? What did they do in 2018 to 2017?
What was it like when COVID was a thing?
Right. So if you don't archive, people have a tendency or whatever the news media put out there.
Yep. That's their understanding.
That's their understanding of how things were. Like there ain't nobody care about nobody. The gangs didn't just start yesterday.
Mm-mm.
Gangs started migrating in the 90s
Mm-hmm.
from the West Coast. See, people don't know that. It's only internet.
Mm-hmm.
The gangs started migrating from the West Coast, setting up like shop. You set up shop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they always had Bloods, Crips here. Ain't nothing new. But it's a level of respect. Everybody has what they call a level of respect. You know, I don't point them out, because it ain't my job. I'm not the police. But what I do is I talk to them because they're human.
Right.
I try to get them to understand is, are you doing this because you want to, or are you doing this because somebody telling you to do it and
You're
they got your back? Because
you're
when all is said and done, once you get caught,
yeah.
that's the pipeline to prison, partner.
Yeah.
There's over like 3 generations of black and brown men in prison. And I don't know what the number is now. I could just call, ask Sari and get it. But back in the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
late 90s, it was about already 60 to 70,000 black and brown people in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Million. And you're telling me you want to go there as reason why I do, because a lot of people that I met that had been in prison for years, 20 and 30 years. And when I tell them what I was doing, they would always tell me, make me a promise. And I'm like, what's that?
Mm-hmm.
Promise me you tell these young people they don't want to go in that monster. They
Right.
call they call the prison a monster. They don't call it prison. They don't want to go in that monster. Prison only. They were like, I was on lockdown. And you need to tell them they do not want to go in that prison. I mean that monster.
Yeah.
Well, what happened to the word prison? It's not a prison. It's a monster. Because you can go in there. And they used to have it on TV.
Right.
Where here in Virginia, and they show you what's going to happen when the bus pull off from the city jail and take
Right.
you to Richmond. And when you go in there and you enter that gate,
Mm-hmm.
and they tell you to stand in line, they're telling you you can't say nothing, you can't talk about nothing, you can't eat, you can't go to the bathroom or do nothing.
Right.
Unless we give you permission.
Right.
And the last part of that conversation, when he gets to the end, is that you are now the property
Of that institution.
of the United State of Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And only when we say you can do something, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you telling me that you rather go and get a gun? You telling me that you rather go into jail? And where they're gonna send you at, you're gonna be so far away that nobody's gonna come and see you.
Correct. You brought up another good point that had me remembering the different school systems I experienced as a military kid.
Uh-huh.
They didn't necessarily encourage critical thinking over here.
Mm-hmm.
And The only thing I can think to justify that is the DOE is here. So a lot of educational testing standards were pushed through here. So when I was in elementary school, we were encouraged to be good test takers, but not really to analyze a piece of work, which I think here is more encouraged in college. But when I lived in Hawaii, they encouraged more critical thinking there, where they didn't just give them the answer that they thought you should give. They wanted you to read the piece, understand it, think about it for a little while. What's your actual opinion on it? Give us basically your individuality was more valued than an answer to a test.
Mm-hmm.
They're they had a lot more of a community focus where you had a day out of the week that you would do some group activities as a class or a grade or whatever. Every year you had an activity to look forward to called May Day in elementary school, where you spent the month or two before practicing whatever your performance was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then you brought your whole family to this thing in May and you did this whole performance, and then the rest of school was pretty relaxed. Um, I think because we had less of a stringency on a standard and more of a stringency on building relationships, a lot of people out there are a lot better with coping and have different mental health things going on. I'm not saying they don't have their own issues, but because they didn't have to meet an expectation of something that's not for them,
Mm-hmm.
they're put in a better situation versus people over here having to fit into a box. I was able to get into gifted and talented programs because I was a good test taker. I knew how to figure out what the person or what the test was looking for,
Mm-hmm.
figure out how to as a piece of work to get the answers that this is looking for. But it took me a long time to develop my own thoughts.
Right.
Imagine if you weren't good at that. Imagine if you didn't just fit into the boxes. Imagine if you weren't the overachiever type kid who just was in school to get out of whatever your personal situation was.
And, and that's those are the key points, because whenever you're in school or in college, they tell you there is no wrong answer on a test.
There's a lot of people who don't make it to college though. Like that's what I'm
Right.
saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So when you don't learn to educate yourself and pay close attention to what the teacher is telling you, it's easy to go to school and get your lesson done. There is no wrong answer on any test. You just got to get the closest one they want. And if you do that, because I like I tell people, I listen. That's why I don't talk when I go and do anything. I'm gonna sit there and listen. Why? Because the key is in listening, not having the answer. If I had the fucking answer, I wouldn't be there.
Exactly. Because I'm here to learn.
Right.
Yeah.
I done been in all kind of think tanks. Not here in New York, Florida, flew to California for 3 days at the cost of $8,000. And people are telling me, like, you only want to do it for the money.
No. Do you know the amount of people who share information because they made those investments and they're like, hey, I had to spend this amount of money. You shouldn't have to. Here's what it is. This is as simple as it is. Like, go get. Sorry, the dog is playing with the toy that makes noise. I was trying to throw
Oh,
it away.
no, I don't.
The amount I've been blessed to have been shared with wisdom from you and a few other individuals who did those things, flew out to California, flew out to conferences that they paid for. I've been blessed to not have to pay for conferences. There's
Right.
one coming that I'm dreading to have to pay for. I'm going to start fundraising for it soon. That's just, I'm looking at it as like a bigger networking opportunity. But the amount of people who invested all of that into learning those things, and then they're just like, the internet's here, you don't have to spend that much money, here's a guideline, now you do some more research and then you got it, but I'm going to start you where I spent $8,000 to even get to the start of and had years of time to practice. You get that now at this age, you have that time to practice.
Right. So it's like I said, it's no rocket scientist. If everybody was a rocket scientist, then everybody have their own spaceship. But unfortunately, they don't. They have to go and work for somebody else. And the person that got the money, he gives you the money and the money enough to cover your hours and expense, but he owns your project. So you don't own it, because that's why he paid you the big bucks. And like I keep telling people, okay, everything I know is is because I can't get where I want to go because people want to steal it. So if they can't steal it, they ain't getting you the money for it. Because you can't tell me I'm sitting at boardroom tables, talking to people that run churches, and they'll sit here, man, I like what you got here. Oh man, I'm going to talk to other pastors. I talk to city council people. Oh, this sounds great, but I can't do no more than what city council let me do. Well, let me see. Did city council just give $1 million down there to the Vibe District to paint murals? Let me see. I went to Old Dominion. I got a bachelor's degree in fine arts painting. I've been drawing ever since I was a kid. I done went to Art International School in Minneapolis, Minnesota for 3 years. And you're telling me I can't get no kind of money. Oh, let me figure out why you give Chrysler Museum of Norfolk $50 million out of $170 million for grassroots organizations. All you got to do is do your research.
Yeah.
Chrysler Hall never had Black artists art in the Chrysler Hall Museum. It's a private museum. It's owned by Chrysler. Why do you think it's called Chrysler Museum?
Right.
The people that own the Chrysler car company. So you never had Black art. All you got to do is look it up. It ain't nothing hidden.
Right.
And why they got all these artists in there now? We opened the doors up. Yeah, because you got $50 million and you couldn't justify getting money that's supposed to went to grassroots organizations in the community to stop violence and all these other activities to encourage people. And you try to do things to get Black people to say they've been to the Chrysler Museum to justify $50 million, 30 or $40 million in Virginia Beach. So you give the Vibe District millions of dollars to hire a few Afro-Americans to go down and paint murals. And I'm not shy on letting you know. I know most of the #1 artists that you got down there. They've been on my show.
Yeah.
So when you sit there and try to camouflage what you're doing, is really people don't want to talk about it.
Right.
Let me see this. You got 50, each state got $120 million, each city. Okay. Well, Virginia Beach, we have a land for an African Cultural Center.
Shoot, you just reminded me something that I forgot to check.
And
no.
Uh-huh.
You said land, and I forgot. I like to shop the auctions and watch them, and they had land cheap that I wanted to see how much it sold for. I forgot this morning.
And the land's still sitting there, and they ain't broke ground on it yet.
No, because they're sitting and letting it collect value, and then they're gonna try to get the most out of it.
Yeah, but they gave it to the Black community. But I'm pretty sure there's a clause in there somewhere along that fine print. If you don't get X number of dollars to get this museum built, we just get the land back.
Yeah.
Because it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So why didn't they give them least enough money? I think it's going to cost $30 to $50 million to build the Afro-American museum.
Here?
Yeah, in Virginia Beach. They got the land.
Yeah.
It ain't a big piece of land, but the design, they said, is going to cost about $30 to $50 million, somewhere along those lines.
Yeah.
But even with all the people here that's doing things, all the millionaires we got here, they couldn't do a benefit or fundraiser with their $1 million friends to come in and, pay $1,000, or $5,000 to help build that Afro-American museum. And we sitting around still waiting, like we waiting for a handout.
Right.
and they never want to talk about it. So we go around all the way around the Mulberry Bush and create these illusions like, hey, the city's doing great things.
Uh-huh.
I'm not a pawn. You can't use me. Because when I've helped, I'm a Democrat, and I've helped Republicans get elected. I've helped
Uh-huh.
get some Democrats out of office that shouldn't have been there. Because we all passed the buck. But what's
Uh-huh.
happening in kids are dying.
Uh-huh.
Kids are dying. So what excuse do you have when if everybody's on the same page? Like the 10-1 system. Aren't they still taking tax dollars trying to overturn that back to this at-large system that they had? Saying it's illegal?
Yes, that.
What what part y'all don't understand with the people that's on city council? They keep coming back trying to change something that you, as the citizens of Virginia Beach, saying we want to change. We want the 10-1, but you got a few people that are saying, oh no, well, ain't gonna happen. You got away, but we're gonna bring it back. Y'all must be a rapper or something, because you got to be. You know, everybody that's running for office on the other ticket, they are rappers. Because what they're saying, bring it back, 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 bring it back. Why are you bringing back something? Because it's easy to make like a certain ethnic groups in the community is the problem. And we're going to make sure we stay focused on them being the problem. And that way, we still win. Because gun violence, ain't no child born with a gun in his hand.
No.
So why is it that we have to continue to do things to make our young people feel they're being pawns on the chessboard? Stop being pawns. That's what I tell people. I got a drawing. I might give one away in a contest. Mm-hmm. You've seen it on my wall.
I like your paintings.
Yeah. And I got those, that's a print. Those are prints. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and like, I used to get in. So when I'm going to school, because I'm in there with young people, and I got an argument with one guy, man, because it's like every time I did a painting and the teacher, critique it when it's critique night. Mm-hmm. That's why I don't do. People like, why don't you show your stuff at the art galleries and stuff and put it on? I don't feel like arguing with people.
You don't have to. Just get a representative to do it for you.
Because I know I lose my. I know how to. I know I play chess. I don't play checkers. So when you say something, I'm gonna bait you, put you in check, and then to show people that you thought you was the intelligent one. I mean, I had to bite my tongue when I was going to even Old Dominion. Even with the professors. I mean, I'm not gonna be disrespectful, but you're not gonna talk to me like I'm one of those students. And I used to get very upset the way the professors would talk to the students at Old Dominion. I mean, bro, I ain't never talked to my kids. I ain't never talked to customers in the club the way those professors, they like, we got the rain over here. I mean, I'd be like, if they ever do that to me or try to me, because I'm quiet. I talk when I'm on here because of the things that I have experienced and the things I've seen happen. And one professor told me, saying, you don't want to report a professor over here, not at Old Dominion. Oh, no. You do not want to do that. Of course, I went to the advisor and told him I wanted to file a complaint. Oh. A complaint on who?
Right.
A professor. Oh. No. Let me advise you right now. You don't want to do that. I said, why not? Mm-hmm. You definitely do not want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I said, when they being disrespectful, I'm just telling you right now, you do not want to file a something against a professor over here. You know, I said, let me explain something to you. One, I'm paying to go over here. Two, Old Dominion don't have no power over me.
See, we
How's
use there and other like review sources.
uh
Um, tell you. So if reporting the professor wasn't possible, the students did self-reporting online, and a
uh
lot of times, and you could tell like what the student got in the class, what the professor was like, and you can rate different what would you call it, categories of experiences. So like
hmm
how was class, how much was homework really necessary. Rate my professor was good for that, but they have online sources that students use.
hmm
Because if you can't get, like, you can get them through the surveys at the end of the semester, but the
uh
likelihood that you're going to do it is not as high.
Yeah.
It's just, you expect like 10%.
Well, see, mine was that I had signed up for a class because it was getting, you can't get your funding if you don't have 12 credits.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, I already took photography one at Tidewater Community College. So I could
Mm-hmm.
take time, pass it. And I said, I'll sign up for this. And if I don't like it, I can drop it because I want to get out. Most of my art classes, they was already filled. And that what they say. If just take a class, and normally, soon as a week or two, somebody's going to drop out, and then you can switch over and get the class you want.
Exactly.
So I go to the class, to get the paper they give you. Can't think of it right now, but the I hate that when I can't remember something.
The
You know,
transfer.
no, the thing that they give you about the class.
Oh, the syllabus.
Yeah, the syllabus. And I'm sitting there, and I go in. She said, "Yeah, yeah, have a seat. I'm in the class. I'm on a roll." So as she finished talking, she says, "Everybody come up front. I want y'all to come up front so y'all can hear the video, while I'm, doing the lecture. Come up
Mm-hmm.
front, just up a couple of seats. I come up. This is what she did. Hey, hey, you. Hey, you.
She don't know your name yet.
I told her when I came in what my name was.
Yeah.
You know, she said, "What are you doing?" I didn't know who she was talking. I'm looking around
I,
like, "Hey, you. I'm talking to you. What are you doing?" I said, "You just told everybody to come up front so they can hear." "I
yeah.
didn't tell you to come up here." I said, "But you said everybody come up front.
Right.
You know, you go back there and sit there until after the class."
Excuse me.
Well, I said, "I didn't say nothing.
No other student said anything.
I didn't say nothing." Even the students was like, "Yo, Mr. Vaughn, I'm sorry the way she spoke to you."
Uh-huh.
These are the white kids.
Uh-huh.
Like, that was very rude and disrespectful. I want
Exactly.
to I want to apologize to you for way she spoke to you. I said,
Exactly.
"I'm good. I appreciate you doing that, but you don't have to. So after class, I went up. I said, "Can you have time to talk?" "Yeah, I only have a few minutes for my next class. I don't know how you got in here, but you're not supposed to be in my class."
So why are you talking to the student this way? There's security if it's that much of a problem.
Right. I said, "Ma'am, I signed up for your class and you approved it. That's how I got in here. I didn't sign for you to get in my class." So well, how did I get in here?
Mm-hmm.
How did I know where the class was?
Mm-hmm.
I got the email.
Mm-hmm.
"Well, I'm going to talk to the head of the art department because you're not supposed to be in mine. This is certain class or something." Like
Mm-hmm.
she was like, I guess you're supposed to have been famous, but you ain't famous to me. You a teacher.
That's the part that people don't understand. Like that's why humility is so important. Because I
Right.
told you that, well, I'm so and so, and da 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 da. And I'm like, well, I'm so and so. My audience doesn't know you, just like your audience doesn't know me.
Right.
Who are you to them? I literally turned around. I asked David, who's so and so? Who?
Right.
So who does X, Y, and Z? Who? I'm like, if he doesn't know who you are and he's on social media every day, all day, and you tell me he ain't seeing your content, but you expect me, okay, cool.
It's crazy. I mean, I I'm a quiet person. I've been to I was in from 19 once I got my GED, I went to Tidewater Community College. I was there for 2 years. I
Mm-hmm.
transferred instead of staying another year to graduate
Mm-hmm.
or 2.5 years, whatever it was. I'm like, I go ahead and transfer. And I wanted to go to, I talked to the people at Norfolk State when they came to Tidewater Community College, and the guy like, yo, you need to come over to see your work, man. We need you. You need to come. You need to come to Norfolk State, man. Oh, where you paint, or if you go come to Norfolk State and if you go over seas for 3 to 6 months, oh, whoa, boy, they will pay you you will make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
They love American artists. That you will make. I'll think about it. Then I had met the head of the art department from Old Dominion too.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, and my photography teacher. He was a teacher at Tidewater Community, but when he got his professorship
Mm-hmm.
to go to Norfolk State, and he like, yo, I'm going to Norfolk State. I want you to come to Norfolk State.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get you in, I'll get you in. I'm gonna, meet me over there. And I met him over there, and he took me around to all the art professors and stuff. He said, all
Mm-hmm.
these people right here, man, they professional. I already know. I've been studying. I ain't just got, see, people think I just started stuff because I'm quiet. I've been studying art at Tidewater Community College way back in the 80s. I mean the 70s in Portsmouth. I studied under I can't think of his name when I wanted that. He was at the time one of the most famous watercolor artists in Portsmouth.
Well, that's cool.
He was the number one man. And when I get off the show, because I'm always when I get to talking, I don't make notes, and it takes a moment for me to remember all the people names that I know. But
Mm-hmm.
I same thing in his class. He's like, you're gonna be good. You're good. I mean, I've been invited to art colleges and classes in New York from different teachers. Even, I mean, everywhere I go, people are like, yo, you need to come to my class. Oh, I'm gonna introduce you to this person. You can get on radio. Like I keep telling people, I didn't have to come back here. When I graduated from radio school in New York,
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks
You're right.
later, they called me down. My sister called me, said the guy give him a call. He got a job offer for you. They wanted me to come to Philadelphia. And
Yeah.
in Philadelphia, I would have been getting like what, $20 to $30 an hour. You know how
Right.
much they get down here in radio?
It's yeah, no. Like 17 now.
Now in the 80s, they won't get them $7, $8 an hour. So people don't even understand. Even in New York, when you go to, because I'm trained by professional artists. The people that you see in the movies, when they're not in the movies, they are teaching classes somewhere.
Oh, that's good. Because that means they're still working and they're not
Right.
just that's good.
Not doing anything. And they're sitting around, because the lady that taught speech, she was off Broadway. She was a Broadway actress, and she was in the movies when the AIDS epidemic first came out, and they had it in the soap operas on all my children.
That's my grandma's soap opera where she got my mama name from.
Oh, okay. And the young girl that had AIDS, she played her mother.
Mm-hmm.
That was my teacher, the young lady, to the lady that had AIDS and all my children. That she was my speech teacher, and she would tell me then. She said, it's going to be hard for you to do radio because you're from down south. And I said, yes, ma'am. She said, because y'all down south people get what they call the southern draw. And you have that southern draw. And you know,
I'm
you
back.
don't have,
I'm
oh
sorry.
yeah, no
Can
problem.
you
I
hear
know.
me?
Yeah, I can see. She said you have that southern draw, and you're not gonna be able, it's gonna be hard for you to get on radio. And see, this is what people don't understand about radio. You know who changed radio?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
I'm gonna have to dip out and come back because my phone rang and now my phone's being funny.
Oh, I
I
see.
will
I
be
heard you
right back. I
talking.
apologize.
I don't know if you can hear me. I can hear you, but you got your picture up, so I don't.
I
So
can't hear you at all. I'll be right
you can
back.
drop out and come back in. Just click it. It'll do that sometimes, especially when you're on the phone. So while we're waiting on Simply C to come back in so I can wrap up my show, and I'm going to be editing this for different segments, and to do a different type of format with the talk show now, so we can get people more involved and more educated on things that happen in our world that we need to be focused on and pay more attention to. She's back. So,
Oh, there goes the puppy. I
uh,
swear, every distraction in the world pops up when I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I
yeah,
was listening to what you were saying. Next thing I know, my front doorbell went off, and next thing I know, I get a phone call at the same time.
right.
Then they finally finish, and all of a sudden, I can't hear you. So I said, okay,
Oh,
now
it's
you know what I
understandable.
mean?
Yeah. Well, what I was saying is, do you know what's changed radio?
Either television or the internet.
What changed radio as it is today
Mm-hmm.
is because of the rapper.
Trying to get my charger. I'm sorry.
Because of the way it was just ordinary speech.
Right.
It wasn't, when you go to broadcasting, anybody that took broadcasting would tell you, you had to speak almost perfect English.
Mm-hmm. Proper.
Right. It's proper in the sense of the way you the way you have to practice. You have to practice it. It's not something that you do ordinarily.
Mm-hmm.
The people that you see on TV, in shows and all that, they have a speech coach. You have to do certain exercises to get your muscles in here to open up, your mouth to open up and close.
Mm-hmm.
All these things go into play. But when rap came out, they were like, these people making all this money and we're not making none.
Right.
So they changed the law.
Oh, it was a law.
Right. You could not be on radio. What we doing now?
Yeah.
Back in the day, you were not allowed to be on radio.
Interesting.
Because you didn't have a license.
Oh, yeah.
I have an FCC license.
Yeah.
I got it in the room, in the folder.
Mm-hmm.
That says I'm licensed to be able to hit that button, you to hit your mic. It gives you a license to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Before you couldn't do it. You could be on a talk show.
Mm-hmm.
And you had an engineer that was over here in another room like we used to do at Old Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
You could go in the other room and do something. But without a license, like when I'm talking to people, they be like, well, you're not supposed to do that. One of the young ladies that was a student, a young lady that was, I said, did you know how to get, because so when I'm rushing, I'm doing so many things in my head. I was rushing and I forgot how to get back on the air.
Mm-hmm.
All I had to do is sign out and sign again.
Yeah.
But because I hate to be late,
yeah.
I'm mad because I'm gonna be 2 minutes late.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be on at 12, not 2 minutes after, because that's what you're trained when you go to broadcasting school.
Right.
If you're late, you're dead. If you come to radio or
Mm-hmm.
anything on the air, if you're supposed to be 15 to 20 minutes before you
Early.
sign on.
Yeah.
And you know how you got to park at Old Dominion, and and you can't find spaces during that time of the day. Everybody's on campus, and
Yeah.
man, I got this. But to make a long story short, is that all the things I already know what to do. I already know how to do before I got there. I used to work at WRAP. I used to do a blues show. And even then, people like, yo, the salespeople like, yo, man, I can sell your show, bro. I can get you about I can get you $300 to $400 to do 2 hours at the club. Nope. Come on, man. That's a client of mine, man. They keep asking them. And I don't, bro, I appreciate the offer. I love to help you out. But I already own a club. I'm already in the club 7 nights a week.
Right.
And I don't want to. What? You want me to go and compete against my business?
That's a good point.
I only came to do radio at 103 because, a Clear Channel, because that was a personal request from the general manager.
Right.
Because I know everybody up here, not down here. I know everybody around the board. So when people don't know when they're talking to me, and I try to tell people, even salespeople today, oh, well, we got this demographics. So you want me to pay you X number of dollars for me to be on your Facebook page. And I know you got more than that, but you're saying for this number of demographics, I'll give you send this out to 1,000 Facebook friends. But what you charge me, I can go on Facebook and let Facebook do it, and I'll save money.
That's true.
But people talk to you because they thinking that they are more trained to manipulate. It's called manipulation. That's why we talk the way we do. I can manipulate you by just holding a conversation.
Yeah.
I can persuade your mind by manipulation. Oh, you that smart? Oh, I ain't know you were that smart. How many shares of stock do you own in the company that you work for?
Exactly.
Oh, but you smart. Okay.
I'm
sorry. I thought we were debating on some topic of how much this costs, how much that costs. But the thing is, we are not paying attention to our young people the way they need to be educated. And that's why when it comes to the things I create and do, they want it for themselves to manipulate it, to get it. But I got so many key components in play.
that's what I was gonna say earlier. Because that brought to mind like trade secrets. I really liked working for a small business, but when I first started working there, one of the first things he told me was, as much as he liked me and he liked working with me, there's just certain things about the business he's not going to share.
Right.
He'd been burned by people who like tried to take and recreate his business.
Yep.
I tried to reassure him that I'm not interested in going into this line of business. I just like working for you.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But
See,
I understand.
Yeah.
There's that side, but then there's the other side where you also have to recognize, remember, I'm good at videos and I have my particular editing style.
Right.
I like to think I can specialize in memorial videos. So my mom's video was the first one. I've rewatched that one probably 2 times. It's still hard for me. But making that one was the hardest thing of my life, and it was the best video I'd ever created.
Okay.
Or so I thought.
Right.
Cousin, and I made a video that was really what I wanted to make for my mom, but we didn't have the time or the resources to do so. So I was blessed that her family had a really great system of documenting digital documentation. They had videos and pictures organized not to the T, but organized enough that I could go through it and I could piece together her life and see things that we missed, because we were military kids.
Right.
And stuff that I thought maybe they would appreciate. And then, of course, collaborating with the family, like, hey, are you okay with this being in this video? I bring that up to say that video had the entire room silent by the time it finished playing. It was about a 7 or 8 minute video, kind of long for a video, but they were taken through the same emotions that I and the family were taken through, to the point in the end they couldn't say anything. They just had a moment of quiet and silence to honor her. I say that to say it doesn't matter if you share or if you don't share.
Right.
sense that right behind her, we lost another family member, and her family tried to recreate what I created for my cousin, and it
Right.
wasn't the same. It was still a beautiful memorial. It was still honoring her, but it wasn't the same. They couldn't
Right.
recreate what I did because they didn't have the same skills and experiences. So they
Mm-hmm.
did the best they could with what they had, but they were able to analyze what I put out there, which isn't a trade secret, but certain things about it are a trade secret that you'd have to just be in the field to understand. So
And,
when your story goes out there and when
mhm.
people start taking it, well, not start, because they already are taking it seriously. That's why some people are hindering. But when it starts to gain the traction that it needs to gain,
Right.
even if they were to try, or even when they are to try to recreate the same thing that you've invested into, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to
Right.
be as good. It's going to be different. It's good that things are different, but because they're trying to copy something that's original, it's not going to be as good. There's
Right.
no way for it to be as good because they're not doing it with the same intrinsic motivations.
Right. See, they look at making money.
Yeah, and
I
you're
look at the
relative.
investment into our future generation
Exactly.
to show them that if I can do it,
You can do it too,
you
and you
can
do
do it
it
too.
the same way.
You don't need a gun. The gun is to get you not to be able to be as successful that you are born. You already got the gifts in you. Why you think they're doing what they do?
Exactly.
Why do you think you are in the situation you in? Because you got the talent. I done had
They're
people that's like,
jealous of you. If they can keep your mindset here, then you can't be successful and take away from their market, even though there's enough money and space for everyone.
right. Because there is no mistakes in God's kingdom.
Nope.
That's what he tried to. That's why the Bible is the way it is. But everybody wants to manipulate, mistranslate, and like I show, I'll probably next time I see you, I'll try to show you. I don't know if I. It's hard to see. I took some pictures, and you know, when like I said, when my spirit tells me something to do, and I do it, and then when I go back and like, why did I had to do that? And
Mm-hmm.
then when I investigate and you see things that you don't normally see in a picture that
Mm-hmm.
you think is just is there, but you don't know it. That's a whole different ball game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole different because you got to be, you know, it's like what they call the third eye. You got to be able to understand that everything is not visible to the two eyes.
Correct.
It's the third eye, and that's the wisdom. That's the perineal gland. All these things that we are being manipulated, you, and your spirit will guide you to show you things that you would not nearly know and wouldn't be visible to the naked eye. It's not visible to the naked eye. It's
Yeah.
just in the spirit world. I'm gonna take a next when I go back on the internet because they got a picture of the pyramid
Mm-hmm.
of something in the water, the top part of it, and I think I showed you the one I built if you remember. I
I think.
built my I built my pyramid when I went to Topwater Community College.
Mm-hmm. I
One
do
night,
remember.
huh?
Okay. I remember.
Yeah, the one that's got it's on a rack, it's on a hook,
Mm-hmm.
and I built it. And after you didn't have no pictures, you didn't have nothing to look at. That was the first day of the class. He
Mm-hmm.
said, "What I want y'all to do is go out there. I mean, go in the other room because I was taking sculpture and stuff. Go in there and pick out some wood, and I want you to come up with a project,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to make. This is what you use. You can use glue. You can go to the fabric store. You can go, get some. If we don't have it here, you can. And I picked up. And I'm like, I don't know. I never did this kind of art. I mean, just throw me in here. I'm gonna make something out of wood.
Mm-hmm.
Slabs and stuff. Like, so my spirit said, get those pieces right there, those pieces right there, those pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to cut on the drill, I mean the saw, and cut it, measure it. I'm like, man, I don't know how, I'm gonna do something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I came up with that pyramid. Now they just took a picture, I think it was on Pharrell's picture of the top of the pyramid,
Mm-hmm.
that's the way that pyramid looked. I never seen the top of a pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
It was the talk of the class that night for 45 minutes.
Oh, that's cool.
For 45. No, I'm shy. I don't, it's like, oh man. Well, he stopped. We got 20-some people in the class, and he's like embarrassing me,
Yeah.
and using it, holding it up and demonstrating it.
Sound like the
And
child of proud parents.
yeah, and he's saying
This
like,
is my son. Look at what he
yeah,
did.
I'm like, these people gonna get mad. I'm getting tired of going to classes and the students are mad with me.
Yeah.
And I don't even know them. I mean, I go to class, I don't talk to nobody. They be like, why you don't talk? So let me see. Let me see what talking. Let me see why I'm not talking.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. $70,000. That don't keep you from talking. $70,000.
Yeah.
These professors are getting paid, and you're gonna sit there and talk while he's talking?
No.
Y'all don't know. You really don't know what discipline is.
No, especially not the younger students.
So I'm not talking to nobody. Don't even that. Yeah, no, I don't know. I just tell them I don't know. Maybe after class I can, tell you something. Can you work with our? You want to be in our group?
Mm-hmm.
Can you help me out with? I said it's best for you. I can try to explain some of the things to you, but I don't want to get, because if I get an F, that means you're gonna get an F, and I don't want that. I don't want to take responsibility of you not passing the class. We all can collaborate. This is why you get in class when you go to college. You're trained not to work by yourself. You have to work with be in a group. So if you're in a group, whatever you come up with is not your ideal.
It's the group's idea.
It's the group's ideal. So like, and what I try to explain to people, it's already in you. That's why they put you in groups. You already have the gift. But what they do is you put people in a group, and your ability to do something might be a little bit more knowledgeable, but it expands into the next person group. Isn't that what you call it that owns Facebook did?
I was gonna say Google kind of does some of that with the way that they're structured and work.
Right. And the Bible will tell you, no man is an island unto himself.
Right.
So I don't have a problem, telling people, showing people, if I can make you see that what I'm seeing, but I can't tell you if it's 100% going to work for you, because what works for me may not work for you, and what works for you may not work for me.
Correct.
But I'm willing to listen. I mean, I'll sit there, but in my mind, I'm doing my own work.
Yeah. No, there's a balance in it. There's expecting to learn from others, but also acknowledging like, hey, this works for me, and saying like, I don't know if this will work for you or not, but this is what I did and it works for me. You can try it, and just propose it like that. Because when people would give advice or information like that, it was easier for me to receive it rather than to take it like, oh, so you kind of know everything, or you're another teacher. Or even someone who would say like, this is what the teacher's looking for, but this is what we're here for, or this is what the teacher's here for us to do,
right?
But this is what I'm doing to learn for my personal growth. Is your visual working? Because your camera's black on my side.
I'm working. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, but yours did the reload thing like mine did a moment ago. That's
because I'm over time, I guess. So it's like, okay, you over time, and we're gonna freeze you. Maybe you'll go ahead and get off. So that's what it probably is. But let me see, can I go out and
come back?
Might have been. Let's see. I think, yeah, I know what it is. My hard drive, and what it did.
Uh-oh. Is he gone? Puppy's asleep. I'd show you guys, but he's snapping now.
Trying to take it off. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but your visual still.
Yeah, because my external drive came on, and it's probably reloading. And what it does is it frees it. Now I can come back on.
Now I see you.
Yeah, I had to take
Pause
it.
symbol over your face too. There it goes.
Yeah, I had to cut my hard drive came on.
Oh.
My external.
So it just pulled from.
And it's pulling all the information to update the hard drive.
That's funny. I'm trying to close notifications because now I'm getting notifications again. There we go.
Okay. So, but I'm already over. That's what I'm saying. Is most of the time I try not to. I get to bringing people on. I get to talking too long. Because this conversation is to me is that it's the archive stuff because this will be on my YouTube, and I normally edit some pieces out of here probably sometime this week, and read and just put certain portions up. For just to be putting it up, and the main focus will be on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
getting a lot of views, or you're getting views. I'm not going to say a lot, but you are getting views from my platform.
Oh, okay.
I've been streaming.
Well, you want it to be not just entertaining, but you want people to start thinking. See, what I do is when I bring you on, because you are younger and your experience is different from mine. And it's just like when you go into college, you're paying for the professor's experience of life. So what I do is I do it for free. And so that people can say, hey, there was somebody out there trying to do something, but they was trying to manipulate, what he does. Because like I keep telling people, I go to a lot of places and be in places that other people have never been in the room. And when I tell people I used to be in a special education class, and they're trying to figure, well, how did you get in this room? Well, because see, just like all the rooms I've been in, I was put there by people like you. And I say it so that young people can understand is don't give up on yourself because somebody said that you were special or you was in an ungraded or you can't understand what I'm saying. It don't take a person to yell at a person to get their attention.
No.
It doesn't take a person to call people names to get their attention.
Nope.
I can hurt your feelings by just not saying nothing. And that's what I normally do with people that are like city council people that'll look right at you and lie in your face. Because I keep trying to say is this, you only control the space that you're in. And I allowed you to be, I came to your meetings or your events to be in your space. So when it's time for me to do what I do, I can point it out to the people that don't come to your meetings. They don't come to city council or you put on an event. Because what you learn about anything is, how do you get Black people to come to places? You know how you get Black people to come to places?
Food.
Thank you.
Black people and broke college students. You got food? Oh, I'll be there. Pizza?
Right.
No,
that's anybody. People get off work. They're over. Well, a lot of people didn't get the food, but y'all can take it with you.
You just for 3 days, Jacob.
Right? And you eat the same food. Well, I ain't got to cook nothing for the week.
Groceries ain't cheap.
Right? Not today.
No.
But you'll pay for the price if you overeat. When you have to go to the doctor, become a diabetic. If you don't know that standing in front of the microwave oven, the wavelengths are cooking your internal organs.
Yeah.
Don't you know you're not supposed to stand in front of the microwave?
Yeah. But so I've heard that growing up, but I think that was based on older technology because when I looked into how they design the new ones, it's not supposed to do the same thing. Like, even if it's open, the radiation that you get from, like, if it's open, you're obviously going to get some radiation right there. But for the further you get, of course, it dissipates.
Right. It's depending on where you are.
Yes.
Don't you know? Excuse me. This is the new radiation. This is the new radiation.
Yeah.
That's why you're supposed to put this case around it to try to cut down on it.
Pockets.
If you hold your phone too long, what happens to it? What happens to your hand? What happens if you talk on the phone and not have earplugs or something?
Oh, it's warm.
Don't you know the radiation is going in your ear?
Mm,
There's a fan on it. So when that fan comes on, it's blowing that into your ear.
mm-hmm.
So everything that people think they know, they ain't telling you. They don't tell you until you begin to experience things which about human body.
Mm-hmm.
So what we don't do is educate and let our young people, as the Bible say, man perish because the lack of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
You got any closing words?
I just want to continue on that and encourage everyone to seek knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and to work at being a better listener. Because you might think you're a good listener, and then you'll have a situation that'll remind you, like, man, if I would have just kept my mouth shut. I feel like life will humble you enough, but if you're taking action as soon as possible to just sit back, listen to what they're saying, take it in, don't listen to respond, don't listen to, like, yes, listen to continue the conversation, but listen to learn, because at the end of the day, you never know what's going to affect you from the conversation.
Right.
You might think you know something and you might think you have it down, and then hear it from another perspective and realize, oh, I don't actually know the entirety of the situation. So I would just encourage everyone, if you're in school or not, just continue to be an active listener and listen with an ear to grow.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Learning to listen and pay attention. Because regardless of what you do, somebody knows more than you do,
Mm-hmm.
and some know less. And I don't know more than anybody else. I'm still learning. That's why when I bring people on as my guests, I'm learning like I learned from you. I learned from you because you was in the military. I wasn't in the military. I have family and you know now that's in the military
Yeah.
or have been in the military, but their experience was they don't. A lot of them don't talk about their experiences. They just say I was in the military,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody goes through whatever they go through in life. But what we have to do is learn to just be patient, be understanding, and love.
Yes.
We talk about everything else, but we never talk about love. Nobody wants to talk about love unless it's on a record.
You can't be compassionate without love. If you don't have love for that individual, you're not going to humble yourself to hear what they have to say. Like a pet
Right.
is training me to sit back and know when to be more patient and when to step in and say, no, you have to get over this. He gets anxiety in new places. And the second time we go in there, he's happy because he's been there before. But the first
Right.
into a place, he's making it so difficult for me. And he makes me
Right.
bad dog mom. And it's like, no, I'm not a bad dog mom. You're just nervous and I need you to get over that so we can go do this.
Right.
So like finding his routine or playtime or learning what activities to keep him occupied, like giving him the thing you guys heard him gnawing on earlier. If
Mm-hmm.
on that, he won't gnaw on the door frame or he won't
Uh,
something else. So
hey, he's got the door. He's eating the door. I thought it was a dog. Ah, it's a beaver.
right. I'm like, you're a dog, not a beaver. Like, how is this happening? And I
Yeah.
can't come in and chastise the pet for that because the pet is being a pet. I
Yeah.
have to observe his behaviors. I have to figure out what is causing this. Are you bored? I took you outside. Okay, you have more energy. Got it. Okay, you don't have the right kind of stimulation available. So
Mm.
I need to do what I need to do to make sure you're in an environment that's suitable for you not to be destructive.
Right.
Have to train you that that's not okay without being too harsh because you don't know any better.
Right. So it's a good day. That's what
Yeah.
it's all about. But I got to run. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule because I have a tendency of holding you too long. And, but it's always a pleasure to have you on and, let people be aware that, you know, you, you're very important to the movement and trying to get our young people to understand is what you see in front of you is what you could become.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I document. That's why I bring you on, because they need to see that if you can go through the things, you can still persevere. You still can move forward. You can't always look back unless you're looking for the knowledge you need to
I
keep
actually
you on the path.
pray about that because grief hits you hard. And one of the things that I was seeking God for was shifting my perspective on my past so that I wouldn't be grieving every time I thought about it, because you can't really enjoy life if you're sad all the time.
Right. Yeah, I know. And that's what I'm saying is I don't been to too many funerals, lost
Mm-hmm.
too many relatives, close mothers and fathers. And I mean, it's like it's an ongoing cycle. You know, people that worked for me, people that came in the club that supported me,
Mm-hmm.
and mentors. You know, it's it's just too much because I don't believe in death. That's what helps me guide me
Mm-hmm.
from sitting around and because I know they're not here. I know they had to go on to where God wanted to send them
Mm-hmm.
because this is only a stepping stone. The
Yes.
universe is too big for you to think that you're the only creature on a planet
In a galaxy.
amongst in the galaxy, in many galaxies. See, the
Oh,
thing is, we're in the Milky Way galaxy. So
mm-hmm.
when you're thinking about all those other galaxies out there with other planets, because every star you see is a planet, it's not a star. It's the gases around it that makes it sparkle,
Yeah.
but they're planets. So when we sit around and thinking that, hey, there ain't nobody else there, y'all are crazy, you're losing your mind. All the things that you're doing today was talked about in the Jetsons. Meets George Jefferson, Jane, his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't you living it? Hey, Dick Tracy, calling Dick Tracy. What part you don't understand? This stuff was 30 or 40 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
but now you are living it.
Mm-hmm.
So what part that you're not going to be able to, you don't comprehend that if they saw it then, that you are part of the next generation to create. Don't let them steal your joy. With that said, thank you so much. Simply C for Simply C podcast. And where can they see your podcast on, and let them know where to tune in at?
So, Simply First Class podcast on YouTube. Simply First is one word, and then Class Podcast should be the second word. We should have some content coming out soon. I don't want to spoil it yet.
Okay.
I think making some tech adjustments, I shouldn't be as delayed as I was before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they will be uploaded to YouTube and then Instagram. Once I get them on YouTube as the full version, I'll put some promo content out.
Sounds great. Sounds great. I'll be looking forward to, help, send it along to other people.
Appreciate it.
No doubt. Because it's really everything we do, if we learn to work together, you see that doesn't matter what color your skin is. As Martin Luther King said, it's the content of your heart.
Yes.
With that, thank you so much for being a co-host, and talk to you later.
Thank you for having me.
All right, always. As you see, Simply C was here, and time for me to move on. I will be editing this down for those that might pop in and out, but it's important to document and keep things moving. As we conclude this, remember to love yourself, put God first. Everything else will fall in place. It doesn't matter what others think about you. It's what you think about yourself. The sun is shining on me. I need some sun on me. So get that energy up. But nevertheless, once again, thank y'all so much. Please share. And I will be editing this to put back on Facebook and all the other places. So be on the lookout for nips, a minute or two of this segment to be broadcast. And don't forget to tune into the presidential debate tonight. Until then, bye-bye.